Hi, it's Athena from Sage Goddess, and it's first harvest. I want to wish you a blessed Lammas. I'm here with a Lammas blessing for you and to spend a few minutes with you telling you about this important day. It's one of the most important days in the entire wheel of the year to me, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm also going to read a little bit to you from my Book of Blessings and Rituals, which is still one of my favorite books for connecting you with the wheel of the year. It has all kinds of blessings and invocations and crafts that you can do. But on page 86, there is a Lammas blessing that I want to read to you. And and then if you would like to experience a full Lammas ceremony with me, that happens in my Wax and Wane online program, which you can find out more about if you visit sagegoddess.com. We do full moon and new moon after parties, an astrological overview each month, and then we celebrate the high and low holidays together. So would love to have you there. This, of course, is the harvest candle that we made for you for this year at Sage Goddess. And Bruce created incredible art reflecting the three goddesses of the harvest. Lammas, which is this day, August 1st, that we're celebrating in this moment together, is the first harvest. And it's traditionally a harvest of wheat. I also call it the low-hanging fruit harvest. You know, for me, I'm starting to gather what is ready to be harvested from the garden. In my garden, it's some apples. I've got a few remaining lemons from the season. I've got some peppers and some herbs and spices that are ready to be harvested. So I'm already doing that work in my garden. The last of the peaches has come off. I'm waiting for my persimmons. That is more of a September, October. So second and third harvest, which is going to be your fall equinox. And so she's our middle harvest goddess. And then we chose her. The three beauties to represent Samhain, which is the final harvest. The reason why there's three harvests, the number three is really important in all of the spiritual and esoteric traditions, right? It's birth, life, and death. It's maiden, mother, and crone. We have the early harvest, which is the youthful harvest. It's the early crops. Traditionally, it's wheat. And the word lammas actually comes from the Old English word loafmas. And so it's a derivative of that word, which comes from the idea that traditionally what we would have been doing on the last day of July going into the first day of August is bake bread with wheat we would have harvested from our own fields. The second harvest is the proper harvest. So that's fall equinox. That's coming up in September. And of course, we'll have a huge celebration around that. The third harvest is the death harvest, right? It's pulling the dried fruit from the trees. It's releasing anything that remains on the trees so that the trees can rest, just like we need to go inward and rest in November, December, and January ahead of winter. And so we're following nature cycles when we celebrate holidays like Lammas. And I do want to say, you know, I'm 2 generations away from people who worked the earth for a living to take care of their families. I don't know how many generations you are away, but there's something in my blood that still reminds me like, ooh, you know, this is the moment, August 1st, when we can look around the garden, when we can look around the farm, around the fields, and we can kind of discern how successful this year has been. It's an invitation to reflect on where you've been and whatever other goals you have for 2025. Now is the time to really put as much energy toward them as possible. And you have the next 6 or 7 weeks until the proper harvest in September to finish and fuel those manifestations. And so I'm going to read to you from the Book of Blessings. This is page 86. To usher in first harvest and the gift of wheat. Lammas represents the culmination of the summer season and the celebration of a bountiful harvest. Repeat the following blessing aloud to honor the abundance of summer. At first harvest, I give thanks for the abundance I have cultivated and received in this first half of the year. These crops, these gifts from Gaia, our mother, come after seasons of sacred intention. I dive deeply to the earth within, to the soil of my spirit, and there I gather the fruits of what I've planted this spring. I gather these early crops, honoring also those crops that were not strong enough to survive. For they have also given of their beauty and blessed me with lessons of loss. I prepare for the rest of the harvest now, softening into fall, and resting more in the sunset of the year. I use hematite and obsidian to ground and surrender my trust in the universe. I know that I am safe, I am held, and I am secure. My efforts rewarded, I honor the earth, and as the great wheel hints at summer's end, I prepare my spirit for feast and rest. Well-tended seeds that are sown with care will yield a good harvest for all. So shall it be. Amen, aho. And so it is. Amen, aho, so it is. And so my wish for you this Lammas, wherever you are and whether you celebrate it or not, and maybe this is something new to you. Maybe you're hearing about Lammas for the first time, or maybe you've been celebrating it with me for over 10 years. We've been together now for 14 years as of July, is to remember that everything is always in flux and changing, right? As the season of summer starts to slowly come to an end and we prepare for fall, this is a time to recognize that the greater efforts of our year happen in the spring and summer. So it's okay if you're feeling tired. It's okay if you're feeling like you need to take a nap and to coil up and to rest and retreat. This is the medicine of the season because most of your work is behind you. It doesn't mean you don't have work to do in the season ahead, but it does mean now is a proper time to turn inward and also to express as much gratitude as you can. Remember, gratitude begins the cycle of abundance. If you want more from anything in life, a partner, a relationship, from your job, from the universe itself, the best thing to say to begin is thank you, not please. Right? Thank you for what I already have. Because the more we're grateful for what we have, the more the universe is inclined to deliver more of what we desire. So, Lammas blessings to you. I hope you love this new candle we designed for you. I just think prosperous harvest is what I'm wishing for everybody, and so we're sending out that energy to you today wherever you are. Lammas blessings, everybody. May your first harvest and all of your harvests be abundant. We'll see you soon.